Musalia Mudavadi of the Amani Party and one of the principals of NASA has rubbished the recent deal between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga to work together. He has said he was not consulted, he has said NASA were not consulted, and therefore that agreement is not in the interest of the Kenyan people. What? Now, to start with, here Mudavadi is not talking about the interest of the Kenyan people. Let's get that very clear. He's talking about his own political interests. Because sincerely, if your house is burning and there's a lifeline somewhere, do you starting to debate whether that rope is strong enough to hold you and bail you out of the fire? Or do you hold on to the rope and hope for the best and know that you'll solve the problem as you go along? Yeah, that's what you do. Because everybody accepts and acknowledges that where Kenya was headed before this historical deal was made between Uhuru and Raila was not a good place. Everybody accepts that there was no other way we were going to go out of it except through bloodshed. And so it seems, at least it would seem to me, that some of our politicians don't mind seeing bloodshed, don't mind Kenyans dying, as long as they remain politically superior. As long as they save their own political lives, they don't care much for the lives of ordinary Kenyans. And indeed, most of them poverty-stricken, desperate Kenyans. They don't care for those people. And yet this is somebody who calls themselves a leader. Somebody who should be responsible. A person who should know when to stop playing politics and when to play politics. Of course, what Musalia Mudavadi is cashing in on the doubts within NASA adherents on the ground. Ordinary folks. Many of them are looking at these deals with suspicion. And therefore, he's trying to position himself as being at the forefront to fight against this deal. And therefore, to win back the trust of the vast majority of Kenyans. Of course, with his own future presidential ambitions very, very much in mind. Now, analyzing these facts, this is something that would make any level-headed Kenyan want to throw up, vomit, because of how sick it is. That's really what it is. Now, I'm well aware of the fact that Musalia Mudavadi is human, and that for humans, when things get desperate, they tend to do desperate things. I'm well aware of that. That's human nature. And we know that Musalia Mudavadi, ever since January 30th, the events of January 30th, 2018, where he missed on the swearing-in of Raila, and it became very obvious what his stand was, what his view was on the swearing-in of Raila. He has been trying to repair his political career. He has been trying very hard to get back on course as far as politics is concerned. But surely there has to be a place even where the desperation stops. And you stop to think of the good of the vast majority of Kenyans. If Musalia Mudavadi was genuinely concerned about the Kenyans and about the common Kenyan, the ordinary mwananchi, then what you'd have done, instead of calling a press conference to rubbish the deal, you should have contacted Raila Odinga and gotten details of the agreement and started to analyze those details early, and while trying to see the best way they can avoid the problems he sees in that agreement. He'd have done everything in his power to make sure that that agreement works. Because the alternative, as I've said before on this channel, is not something any sane Kenyan would want to think about. I'm well aware that this channel has very many young people. And for the young people, it is very easy to say war, civil war. It's very easy to say we'll fight, we'll go to war. But you see, many of those young people have never seen what war is all about. They have no idea. And what they have seen in movies is not even 1% of what is involved when people go to war. War is the worst horror. It is the horror of horrors. And if you can avoid it, it is always best to avoid it at all costs, whatever people call you, a coward, whatever. Because when you avoid war, you save lives. And the truth is that when people go to war and the blood is spilled, that blood is never paid for. How can it be paid for? Okay, fine, the people get what they want. But are they going to be able to really pay back the price they paid for it? Are they going to be able to return those dead back to life? Are they going to be able to make those who are maimed whole again? Never. You know, I had a lot of very high hopes on Musalia. Yeah, the way he behaved, the way he formed NASA, then handed over the leadership to Raila. Yeah, he looked like a very sane politician to me. He looked like the kind of politician who would fit into the new Kenya very well. But now, everything has come to light. The real Mudavadi has shown his face. And to be very honest, folks, what I see, I do not like. Indeed, what I see horrifies me to my bones. Until next time, this is Kshs Kumekucha.